Alright, great then. So today I'm going to take a look at a mechanical drawing in preparation for the upcoming exams. Now, if we have a look at this specific drawing, we are given the following. They tell us that the figure shows a front view, a top view, and just a front view and a top view, and it's in third angle orthographic projection. And I want you to draw the scale of 1 to 1, a full sectional front view, a top view with hidden detail, and a right view also with hidden detail. And you need to show all necessary construction and center lines. So if we look at this, given the given views, the front view and the top view, we first need to figure out which one's which. And they told us that it's in third angle orthographic projection. And in third angle orthographic projection, we know that the top view is always above the front view. So if the top view is above the front view in any third angle orthographic projection drawing, and they've given us a front view and a top view, then this has to be our top view and this has to be our front view. Before we start drawing, I want you to please take note of the following. Before you take your pencil and just start drawing one of the views, you first need to kind of calculate how much space you need for each drawing, since they have not given us a grid to work off. So if I look at these drawings, I can see that this one has a maximum width of 120 mils and a maximum length of 60. And then for the front view, the distance from there to there is going to be the same as the distance from there to the top. So if I was to extend that line over, that distance will be the same. Since it's an octagon, so we can assume that the total height here will be 15 plus 36 plus 36, which is going to give us 15 plus 36 plus 36, sorry, 15 plus 36 plus 36, which is 87. So from the bottom to the top is going to be 87. So before I start drawing, I'm going to quickly measure a couple of things. From the left side of my page, I'm going to measure 120 to the middle, so it's there, and then I'm going to extend past it about 4 more mils, so I'm going to make a mark right there. And then I just need to have at least 60 open there to the top and 87 open to the bottom to leave enough space for everything. So this should be fine. And then I can draw in my grid. Alright, now that I've drawn in my grid, I need to quickly create my guidelines that are going to help me to uh, place everything nice and neat. So from the center, I'm going to measure 1 mil up, 1 mil down, and then also from the center, I'm going to measure 1 mil to the right and 1 mil to the left, and then I can just extend all of those lines like so. So I'm just drawing a line that goes through those points that I've just created. Once I have my grid lines, now I can start looking at what I need to draw where. Remember, we are going to need to draw a top view, a front view, and a right view. So that's going to be the placement for my different views. So if I look at the drawing that is given to me, the first thing that I'm going to start with is my front view. Now, I know that I have to draw a full sectional front view, but if I look at even a full sectional front view, a couple of things will be true. In this case, if I cut my front view down the middle, in other words, if I go to my top view and I cut it there, so that I'm going to see the inside of my front view, I'm still going to see all of my outside lines. So I'm going to start with that. So remember we said that the total height here was 87. So if I go to where my front view must be drawn, I'm going to take my ruler and measure 87. I'm going to put it there. Remember, I'm starting to draw on that corner right there. So I'm starting to measure right there. So I'm putting my set square there. Measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 87 right there. So that's going to be the total height of this thing. Then they tell us that we have a mark at 15, a mark and a mark at 36. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to that dot right there, and I'm going to create another mark at 15, and then from that mark I'm going to create another one at 36. So 1, 2, 3, 36. And now I have all of my points for the different heights, and then we know that the total width of this thing is given as 120. So on this line I can just quickly measure 120. So there's 120. And can you see why we had to measure the 120 at the beginning? Because now if you started to draw a little bit more to the left, you wouldn't have had enough space to draw the rest of your drawing. Then I'm also just going to quickly extend those points that I've created. So this one as well, I'm just going to extend them to my drawing surface. And I'm going to extend this one to the top as well. Alright, so now that I have something to start working with, I can have a look at what I need to draw here. So we can see that there's some sort of cavity right there that runs underneath of this casting. It starts in the center, and then the total width is 56. So from the center to that side is going to be 28, and from the center to that side is also going to be 28. So if I find the center here, which should be at 60 right there, I can measure 28 to the left and 28 to the right. And then they also tell us that that cavity right there has a height. Let me zoom in quickly so you can see what I'm talking about. The cavity right there, so from there to there, has a height of 5 millimeters. So if I zoom out again, I can go to one of these points and just draw a line up, measure that line to be 5, and now I've got the height of this cavity. So I can extend this one to the top as well, and then I can draw in this cavity. And I can also draw in these two sides. Alright, so now that I have that, just add these two lines as well. Now that I have that, I can continue to the rest of, remember, I'm only drawing the outline of this entire thing. I'm not focusing on the hidden detail now. I'm just focusing on drawing the outline of everything. So we have got from there to there, and now from there I need to go 15 up. But remember, we have already drawn in that height line at 15, so I can just make those two dark lines. And then I'm also going to just extend my center, which is right there, all the way to the top, so that I have a center running through this entire thing. Now if we look at what we have here, we have a center right there. Now that center corresponds to that center in my drawing. So since I have that center, I can start constructing this octagon and those inner circles. I'm going to start with the octagon because I need the octagon in order to know how far these lines go in. So if I go to the center, we know that the distance from there to there is 36. In other words, if I was to draw a circle around this thing, from there to there, the radius of that circle will be 36. So I'm going to take my compass and set it to 36. And this is part of the construction of an octagon, which you also need to know. I'm going to take my compass, set it to 36, and draw a light circle right there. And then if we look at, if we go back into our memory and think about the construction of an octagon, you will remember that in order to construct the octagon, we had to draw tangent lines on this circle with our 45-degree set square. And that is how we constructed our octagon. So if you can see, I'm going to the tangent of the circle, lining my set square up, and then I'm drawing in the line so that it touches the tangent of that circle there. Now I've got this octagon. That line is a bit too far. this top one. Alright, so there is our octagon. And now I can see, okay, that those lines need to go to that corner right there, so I can draw them in with hard lines, 8-type lines as well. And now I've got this basic outline of my front view. But remember, our front view has to be drawn in as a full sectional view. Okay, so I'm going to stop here with my front view for now. I'm going to continue on to my top view. And then once I've completed my top view, I'm going to go back to my front view in order to finish it. So the first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm quickly going to extend all of these different points of my octagon all the way to the top where my top view is going to be drawn in. And I'm also going to extend the sides of this casting to the top so that I have the parameters, and the center line I'm also going to extend to the top, and then also I'm going to extend the hidden detail lines for that cavity right there to the top as well. So I'm just going to make a mark there so I can extend them. Set square is a bit short. Alright, so if I look at what I have right now, a couple of things are true. The distance from there to there is 120. Why? Because the distance from there to there was 120. So I already have that 120. What do I need now? I need to find that 60 from there to there, or from there to there. So again, starting in this corner right here, I'm going to measure 60 to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 60 is right there. And I'm going to extend this line all the way over, and I'm just drawing it in with a hard line because I know it's going to be there. If you look at the outline of our top view, you can see that it's a rectangle. So I'm going to draw in the rectangle of my top view, the basic outline of it with 8-type lines so long. And then we can see, if we look at that facet right there and that facet right there, they will correspond to these sections in my top view. And if I have a look at this top facet right there, that's going to correspond with this section in my top view. So I can see that I have to transfer those corners over as these lines, that corner over as this line. Same for all of them. So I can go back to this drawing, follow that corner to my top view, and then I can draw this in with a dark line. The same with this one. Same with this one. And the same with this one. Alright, so now I have those facets that I'm going to see if I look at my casting from the top. I'm going to see these sides of my octagon. If we have a look at this figure quickly, I just want to make sure that you are aware of something. This casting is hollow on the inside. So in other words, if I was to take my pencil and push it through this circle like that, I would be able to push it all the way through. In other words, if I was to take it and push it through that circle in my top view, I would be able to push it all the way through. There's nothing there. Okay, it's hollow in that section. So just keep that in mind when we move on to our section. Now I'm going to continue on and draw those semicircles, the cavity, bolt part, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to draw in that quickly. So the first thing I need to do is I need to calculate the center of that line. So we know that the total length of this line was 60, so the center will be at 30, right there. And then I can go and quickly look at this side. So from the center, from that center to that center is going to be 20. So from the center to there is going to be 10, and from the center to that center point is going to be 10 as well. So I'm going to quickly go to this mark that I've just created and measure 10 up and measure 10 down, and then I can transfer those lines straight through my drawing, project them through my drawing so that I can have them on both sides right there as well. And then if we look at the distance from the side to where our center line is, it's given as 10. So again, I need to go to my drawing, go to that top corner, measure 10 in, same on this side, go to the top corner, measure 10 inwards, and then I can transfer those points down as well using light construction line. So now I've got a center point there, a center point there, center point there, and a center point right there. And then they tell us that the radius for that small inner circle, let me zoom in again, the radius for that small inner circle is 5, and the radius for that larger outer circle will be 8, and I can assume that that's going to be the same for these ones as well, and all of those small circles, so I can just use those measurements. So if I go back to my drawing, you can set your compass to 5. I'm just going to use a stencil. I'm going to go to that center point right there. Radius 5. So it's going to be diameter 10. And then I'm going to draw in all of my semicircles quickly. I see that's already a mistake. Okay, just be vigilant. If you make a mistake, no problem. Just make sure that you see it and that you correct it. And then we know that the radius for the outer one is given as 8, which will be a diameter of 16. So I'm going to go back, just draw in the outer diameter as well. Sorry, the outer circle. And again, you can do this with your compass. I'm just doing this for the sake of saving time. So if you have a stencil, you can do this as well. Just make sure that you still add your center lines at the end of your drawing, and then we can just connect those parts. Alright, so there are those two things. And then to complete our top view, we just need to add our hidden detail lines. The hidden detail lines are all of these dotted lines running along the top view. So what do they mean? Well, I'm gonna share a tip with you. If you take your set square and you line it up, you can see that dotted line right there. Just focus here quickly. That dotted line running down there lines up perfectly. Right? It lines up perfectly with that cavity at the bottom. So that cavity at the bottom right there, if I line my set square up with that cavity, you can see that it follows that dotted line. In other words, that dotted line right there and that dotted line right there indicates that that cavity, that section right there, that hollow section runs all the way through my drawing. So if I go back to my top view, you can just line up your set square with that hollow section in your front view, and then you can draw in these hidden detail lines. Remember, dotted lines. Then if you go back to our top view, if you go back here, we can see that this section right there, that section right there, lines up perfectly with this larger outer circle. You see that? If I line my set square up with this outer circle, it lines up with that section right there. In other words, those hidden detail lines right there indicate to me that this larger circle of the two only protrudes into this octagon a total length of what looks like 10 millimeters. So from there to there is going to be 10 millimeters. So if I go back to my drawing, I go back to my drawing. I'm just going to draw in those two circles quickly so that we have them. And I'm just going to draw them in very light. We have one with a radius of 50. Sorry, a diameter of 50, so the radius is going to be 25. Set my compass to 25. Just draw a light line right there. And then the inner one has a diameter of 30, so a radius of 15. Again, just a light line. I'm just drawing this in so that I can project them over to the top. Okay, and remember what we said? It only goes in 10, so I can measure from that corner 10, and from there 10 as well. Transfer those lines over. And now I can draw in the hidden detail line for this larger circle. So if I follow that projection line, it's going to go to there. So I'm going to line my ruler up there. Again, dotted lines, same on this side. Dotted lines, same for this one. It's at the top and at the bottom of the drawing. And then goes across on that 10 mark that we've just created. Okay, that was a bit too far. Okay, and then there's one more hidden detail part that you should be aware of. If I was to draw, because remember there's nothing in there, there's nothing in that circle. I can take my pencil and push it all the way through this casting and it's going to go through. It's hollow then. So if I line up my set square with that part of the circle and I project it to the top, you can see that it's going to line up essentially perfectly with this line. Same on this side, it's going to line up perfectly with that side, with that line right there. That means that I don't really have to draw in any hidden details. Can you see I'm lining it up with a circle, but it lines up perfectly with that hard line. So I'm not going to be able to see the hidden detail, but in my head I need to know that there are hidden detail lines running across from there to there, so that I know that this thing is hollow on the inside, and not theoretically, I am able to stick something right through it. Okay, so you need to be aware of that. Now that we are finished with the top view, we can continue on to drawing our section plane. So for the section plane, we are going to go to the center line of this thing, and we are going to draw in a cutting plane AA. Like so. Just make the edges a little bit darker, and then we add our arrows. Arrows indicating A and A. So that's just to show that we are looking in this direction when we cut it. And then that's our section plane. If we look at the section plane, what does a section plane mean? It means we take a saw and we cut this thing on that line. We cut it straight down the middle so that we are able to see the inside of it when we look at our front view. That is what that section plane means. Okay, so if we look at this thing, first thing I want you to notice is that there is a hollow part right there. So there's hidden detail lines right there, and we can see that this section plane runs through it. So if we look at where it's going to be hatched, the hatching is going to be from there to there. Then it's going to stop because there's nothing being cut right there. Then it's going to go, 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 go. And remember, there's a hollow section right there. So our octagon, again, will not be hatched in the center on that small inner circle. It's not going to be hatched there because there's nothing to cut there. And then we're going to have hatching all the way through here. Then the hatching is going to stop there again because we have a hollow section there. And then the hatching is going to continue on that last little bit of this drawing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw in those sections at the bottom quickly so that I know where to stop my hatching, so that I know where those cavities are. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just projecting over the widths of, I'm projecting down those lines to my front view. You'll see why in a second. This is going to allow me to quickly draw in these sections where a bolt or something is going to keep the base of this casting steady against some surface. Okay, now that I have that added into my front view, I can continue on to the hatching. Now, I want you to pay attention to the way that I hatch and where I hatch and where I do not hatch, because that plays quite a pivotal part in understanding this drawing. Why did I not hatch right there? Why does my hatching stop there? Well, because it's hollow right there. Remember, when I cut through this thing right there, I'm not cutting through there's nothing that I'm cutting through right there. It's a hollow part of the casting. So there's nothing to hatch. I only hatch the parts that I'm cutting through. So again, hatching continues here. Again, pay attention to the technique that I use when hatching. Can you see that I'm drawing one line? Then I'm moving my compass until that line on my compass lines up with my previous line, my previous hatched line. Can you see that? Okay, this is where I want you to again pay attention. Look at where my hatching stops. Can you see it stops on that small circle? Why does it stop there? Because again, it's hollow. That octagon has a hollow inside. You can stick a pipe through it. So there's nothing to hatch right there. Right? That one messed up, that one. And then I can just make this inner circle a little bit darker. And just like that, I have my complete full sectional front view. And then I want you to please remember to always add your center lines. I'm not going to add all of them right now, but in all of these circles, you have center lines, which you need to remember. Otherwise, you will lose marks for them. Okay. So please remember to draw in these center lines. I'm just going to add a couple of them now. I'm going to add all of them for the sake of saving some time. But you should have a center line right there, and also you should have a center line running straight down the middle over here. Why? Because we have a cylindrical shape in the center of that drawing. And then you also obviously are going to have a center line there, and you're going to have center lines there as well. Now I want to quickly move on to my right view. We go on, first thing we need is a 45-degree line there, 45-degree line right there. And then we can project over all of these different heights, all of these different points, even my center line, I'm going to take that over as well. So I'm projecting over even the center line there, I'm going to take that over as well. All of those points I'm taking over to my 45-degree line so that I can project them down to where my front view needs to be drawn. Sorry, my right view. Okay, so since I have them all touching my 45-degree line, now I can go and quickly project them down to where my right view will be. all of those point lines transferred over to that side. Now I can also transfer over the different points from my front view. You see, I'm taking all of these points over to where my right view will be drawn. It's going to make my life a lot easier when I get there eventually. Okay, now we know that if we look at this thing from the right side, the first thing that I'm going to see is, I'm definitely going to see the outline of it, which is just going to be a rectangle. I'm going to see the outline 100%. So I can draw the entire outline of this thing. Remember, we start drawing in that corner. Entire outline. Now, what else am I 100% going to see if I look at this thing from the right side? I'm going to see the corners of my octagon right there. Okay, so I can transfer those corners over as well. Okay, now what else am I going to see? Well, if I look at this thing from the right side, I'm going to see some hidden detail there where these cavities are. Okay, so if I follow those lines down from where my top view has been drawn, I can see they will look like this. Okay. Oh, sorry, that's not dark lines. These are dotted lines. Why are they dotted lines? Because it's hidden detail. Okay, I can't see them when I look at the right view, but I know that they are there, so I need to draw them in as hidden detail lines as instructed in the question. Okay, so I draw them in with dotted lines. What else am I going to see? Well, I'm going to see this larger outer circle, and again, it's going to be hidden detail. Why is it hidden detail? Because it's there, but I can't see it when I look at this thing from the right. It's on the inside. But since I know that it's there, I need to indicate that it's there by using hidden detail. So I draw it in with dotted lines. Okay, and this one's a little bit thicker and this one's a little bit thinner, but it's fine. Now, what else am I going to see as hidden detail? I'm going to see the dotted line for the top and bottom of this inner circle, which is going to be right there and there. But again, since they are in line with that hard line of the corner of my octagon, I can't draw in the dotted line, but I know that it's there. And then finally, we need to draw in the hidden detail for this cavity section, which we know runs straight through the base of this thing. So I can just draw in a dotted line running all the way through the base right there. And that is pretty much it. Now, a couple of things I want you to remember. Again, just make sure that you add all of your center lines when you are finished. So go through your entire drawing. Make sure that all of your center lines have been added. Even here, we'll have a center line there as well, because it's a cylindrical shape there as well. Even here, right there as well. And then also you're going to have a center line running through this thing, through your right view. Okay, so just go through your drawing, make sure that you add all of your center lines, make sure that everything that should be there is there, that every single question is answered. Make sure that you add your cutting plane. Very, very important. A lot of people forget to do this, and then you lose marks. You get marks for your cutting plane. So make sure that it's added and that it's done correctly. When you are doing your hatching, I want you to please think about what this thing is going to look like when you cut it down that cutting plane. What is the inside going to look like? What am I going to see? What am I not going to see? What should be hatched and what should not be hatched? Keep all of these things in mind before you just start hatching. Because once you've hatched, it's going to be a lot of effort and a lot of time wasted if you need to start erasing things. So please make sure of those things, and then I hope this video helps you.